Hey there, I'm Elizabeth, and thank you so much for joining me today on my channel, Elizabeth Finch Wellness, where we talk about all things health, beauty, and anti-aging after 40. So today I thought it would be fun to share with you all how I throw together a quick but healthy meal with just items that I've got in my fridge and in my pantry and with no planning. So a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you guys what I always keep in my refrigerator and in my pantry and in my freezer, and the staples that I keep on hand so that I always have the makings of a quick and healthy meal. And I am actually a huge fan of planning and doing some sort of a meal plan for the week ahead of time. I pretty much meal plan every single week. Even if it's just basic, like Sunday night I'll make soup, Monday night I'll make a stir fry, Tuesday night I'll make sandwiches, Wednesday night we'll have leftovers, whatever. You know, I just always generally have an idea. But when I got the idea for this video and I really wanted to show you all what it looked like for me to wing it and sort of my components of a healthy meal, then I tried to just completely get out of my mind any kind of plan for tonight. So it's Thursday. You know, I've cooked every night this week, and I am literally just gonna open up the fridge and freezer and pantry and show you guys how I would throw together something quick and healthy. Also, in past videos, I have talked about my sort of healthy eating formula, if you will, that I try to follow for pretty much every meal to make sure I'm getting a balanced meal with all of the important macronutrients and all of the important, you know, antioxidants and phytonutrients that we need in our diet to feel healthy and have beautiful skin and maintain weight and all of those things. So that formula, again, as a reminder, is some sort of a fiber-filled carbohydrate plus either a fruit or a veggie. I tend to do fruits at breakfast and then veggies for lunch and dinner, and then some sort of a protein. So again, I'm always building my meals around that, and that goes for myself and for my family because we pretty much all need those things in a balanced diet. So I'm gonna grab my phone and take you with me over to the fridge, and we're just gonna get started looking for a fiber-filled carbohydrate, some sort of a veggie for dinner, and then some sort of a protein, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna put together for dinner tonight. All right, here we go. So I'm actually gonna let's start with protein, just because I think it's kind of easier to start with that and make sure you've got something with protein. Some nights we do meat. I always keep a rotisserie chicken in the fridge, and I've only used a little bit of this one throughout the week. I buy one every Sunday, and I think I've only used a little bit of this one. So I think I'm gonna use the chicken for a protein tonight. Other options for protein, if you don't have anything like that, a lot of times I'll have tofu or tempeh. I actually don't right now, so that's not an option. Sometimes I have things like frozen shrimp in the freezer, and then of course cheese has protein in it as well. So if I'm ever in a pinch, I might do something with like feta cheese or goat cheese or Parmesan cheese or something like that. But since I've got this chicken, we're gonna use chicken for the protein tonight. All right, let's check and see, well, while we're here, because condiments are a huge part of quick and healthy dinner meal as well. So I have some pasta sauce that's open, and then I've got some curry sauce that's already open. And then I've got this basil pesto that I just used a little bit of last week to make a sandwich out of. I'm not really a barbecue saucer. Brandon is more of a barbecue saucer. I also have this creamy Alfredo sauce. So we've got a couple of options here. Mary Kate really loves this pesto from Trader Joe's. It's the vegan kale, cashew, and basil pesto. And like I said, I opened it last week and it probably needs to be used. So I think I'm gonna do that along with the chicken. Let's go over to the pantry and check out and see what we've got in the way of a fiber-filled carbohydrate. Okay, so there are a lot of ways to get fiber-filled carbohydrate, you know, whole grains, beans, which we've already got a protein from the chicken. So I think I may skip out on the beans just because that would add more protein, and I think we've got plenty. But rice, orzo, I love this Bonza, pasta. It's made with chickpeas, but again, we've already got quite a bit of protein from the chicken. So I think I'm gonna do this orzo, which is just pasta. I know orzo looks like it's a whole grain, but it's actually not. It's a teeny tiny little pasta. And you can see for a third of a cup, it does have some fiber. It's got 2. It's also got a little bit of protein. So yeah, that is what we're gonna do with the pesto and the chicken And then let's look and see what kind of veggies we've got. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the fridge to show you what I've got in my veggie crisper, because again, remember it's Thursday, so it's towards the end of the week. So it's looking like I've got a couple of avocados, which is not gonna work for this dish. That's actually half of an avocado. I used half of it today. I've got a cucumber. I do have some spinach, so that could be an option. Garlic is always a good idea. And then over here, I've got just some carrots and lemons and limes. So kind of looking a little sparse in that department. Let's see what we've got in the frozen veggie section, because I shared with you guys before, I always keep frozen veggies on hand because they're so easy. So they're all over here on this side of the freezer. Let's see what we've got. This is, I picked this up the other day. I'm not gonna use this, but I thought this was really cool. This is mirepoix, which you start a lot of soups and different dishes with. It's just onions, celery, and carrots, but it's already diced up. So I got that to put in the fridge. Let's see, I do have some stir-fry veggies, which has broccoli, carrots, green beans, onions, red bell pepper, and mushrooms. That is definitely an option. Even though it's stir-fry, I think it would go in our pesto dish, but let's keep looking. I've got, let's see, some frozen corn in there, some frozen peas at the bottom. I need to cook those. And then I just picked this up the other day too. This is a provincial blend. It's got yellow peppers, zucchini, red bell peppers, tomatoes, and grilled eggplant. That sounds like it might go really well with my chicken. It does have a little bit of a basil garlic sauce on it, so I think that they've made that with garlic, basil, olive oil, and a little bit of spices. So not too bad. I think we're gonna use this because I think that would go really nicely with my chicken and the pesto, and serve it all over orzo. And then I might throw in a couple of handfuls of that fresh spinach that I had in the crisper in the fridge. So let's roll with that. All right, so just to show you again what our ingredients are that we just shopped my own pantry and fridge and freezer with. The fiber-filled carbohydrate is going to be from the orzo, and I'm gonna serve everything on top of that, and everyone can pick as much or as little orzo as they want. But remember, this is a pasta, so it's like we're serving this all over the pasta, which is the orzo. And then we've got the vegetables, which is gonna be this provincial blend, as well as a handful or two of the baby spinach that I had in the fridge. And then our protein is gonna be what's left of this rotisserie chicken. You can see I picked some of it off for my lunch one day this week, but we're gonna finish off the rest of that, and then we're gonna bring it all together with the kale, cashew, and basil pesto. So now I'm gonna set up my phone and show you how I'm gonna throw this all together. All right, so welcome into my kitchen. You're going to be cooking here with me today, and I plan on this being very fast, but I'm gonna throw in a little bonus tip for you, and that is always pull your hair back when you are cooking for other people. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna get the orzo started. All right, so while the water is boiling for my orzo, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up these veggies in a skillet. After they're warm and cooked, then I'm gonna throw in the chicken. So while these are cooking, while the water is boiling, I'm gonna remove all of the meat from my chicken and have it all together and basically just toss it in a pan. So I've actually done quite a few cooking classes and demos over the years as a certified health coach. And one of my favorite things to do when I teach classes like this is to just kind of share little tips and tidbits along the way. And one of those is you've got to have the right tools for cooking to really be enjoyable. I love my heavy cast iron skillet. This one's from Le Creuset, but really any cast iron skillet is going to do a fantastic job. So normally I would add some olive oil, but because there's already olive oil in these veggies, I'm not going to add any additional. So I'm just going to put it right into the skillet over like maybe just above medium heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and add these veggies into the skillet. Again, they're frozen, so it should just take a few minutes for them to cook and be ready for me to add the chicken. Now, while my veggies are cooking and my water is still waiting to boil or getting hot to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and take all of the chicken off of my rotisserie chicken. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all of that off and set it aside so it's ready to go when everything starts to come together. So I thought I would just talk through as I am removing the meat from the chicken breast. And again, make sure you go back and watch the video where I share all of my pantry and fridge and freezer staples. There's just, you know, so many different ways that you can reinvent meals with just really basic staples. So things like frozen veggies, you know, just the basics like peppers and broccoli and, you know, green beans is a great one. We had green beans last night and they were frozen. You know, those are always great staples to have on hand. And you can do like an Italian style dish, which is what I'm doing right now. Or you can do a stir fry dish, and you know, you could do that with same things I'm using tonight. Like you know, if you had stir fry veggies and even like a rotisserie chicken, maybe some kind of rice that you've got in the pantry, and just stir together some sort of a stir fry meal. You know, use, instead of pesto, you use some sort of a stir fry sauce or like a peanut sauce or something like that. So it's also important to have great condiments in the refrigerator and also in the pantry, and that way you have options. I do use things like marinara sauce a lot. Sometimes I make little mini homemade pizzas on a sprouted grain English muffin, and we'll just put veggies on it, or maybe some chicken like this if we've got it, or even like some turkey lunch meat, you know, goat cheese, different things like that. But again, you know, have to start to learn to think creatively with basics, but in ways that make different meals every time. Oh, my water's boiling. So I'm gonna put in about a cup of orzo. And cook that to the package directions, which is 7 to 9 minutes. All right, I've got my orzo cooking, got a timer set for that, and now I'm just kind of chopping my chicken up into pieces to put in with the vegetables. But something else that I wanted to add is another easy protein that most of us, oh, I'm close to the camera, that most of us always have on hand, or usually have on hand, are eggs. And that's another great source of protein even for dinner. I know a lot of us don't think about eggs for dinner. We think about it for breakfast or brunch. But I love breakfast for dinner, and if I have no other protein in my refrigerator, a lot of times I will just use eggs because I've got them in there, and some sort of vegetables, and I'll do like a frittata or an omelet, and maybe add a little bit of cheese if I've got it, and then we'll just do a piece of sprouted grain toast on the side. So again, we checked all of those boxes for the fiber-filled carbohydrate from the toast. The vegetables, you know, you can use frozen or fresh and put them in your omelet, and then of course protein from the eggs. So there's so many different ways to kind of follow this formula and make fast and easy dinners when you just keep some things on hand that make it easy to do that. And some people would say, you know, that the rotisserie chicken every week is not necessary, and that's fine. If you want to cook your own chicken breast, that's great. But for me, it just makes a little bit easier for me to put together a quick and healthy meal. You know, I don't use the excuse of like, oh, I don't feel like cooking the chicken breast. Well, I've already got it in the refrigerator in the rotisserie. So know what works well for you, know what's helpful for you, and, you know, maybe consider some things that you could keep on hand that will make it easier and more likely for you to cook, because 100% cooking at home as much as possible. Number one, it's the healthier choice, but also at this point, it's definitely the more economical choice as well. Okay, I'm gonna go drain my orzo. All right, so the veggies are pretty much cooked, and you can see they had plenty of oil without me adding any extra olive oil, just because they were already added into this particular bag of veggies. I've got the heat down low, so it's still heating just a little bit, and then I've gone ahead and chopped up all of my chicken. So I'm gonna put that in there, mix this all up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my pesto and a few handfuls of the spinach. And then I'm gonna season it with a little bit of sea salt. You always wanna taste it first. And maybe some red pepper flakes because I love them, so. All right, so I added about 1/3 cup of the pesto. 1/3 cup is usually what I start with as far as condiments go. I mean, that's with like Asian sauces, any sauces, you know, like pasta sauces, the Alfredo sauce. I usually start with about 1/3 cup, and you can always add more. But see, I'm glad I didn't add a 1/2 cup because that would have been, I think, too much for this dish. So you can always add more, but you can't take it away once it's in there. But to me, this is like plenty. All right, so because I kept the pan on low, it's gonna continue to heat. And now when I add the spinach, just a couple of big handfuls of spinach, the low heat is going to help start to wilt the spinach. We don't want to kill the spinach and overcook it. We just want it to barely wilt. So that's why the low heat, and we'll just continue to stir this around. All right, here we go. Everything's ready. We've got the orzo, and now we're just gonna top it with some of this veggie and chicken mixture. It smells delicious. I wish you could smell it. Look at that, all of the colors. We've got our protein, our fiber-filled carb, and multiple veggies in this dish. And I always keep this grated Parmesan cheese on hand for dishes just like this, so I would definitely suggest sprinkling just a little bit over the top. And let's give it a try. Look at that. So we basically made this dish in about the amount of time that it took the orzo to cook, which was like 9 minutes, and it's ready. So let's taste it and see what we think for such a quick and easy weeknight meal. So good. The flavor combos are amazing. I highly recommend this. So we threw it together in less than 10 minutes. My family's gonna love this. I hope you'll make it too. So if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and would like to see more cooking videos or meal prep videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what part of the video was most helpful, most insightful, what you liked best about it. As always, I would be so thrilled if you would consider liking this video if you did find it helpful, and of course hitting that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of my videos. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. I always appreciate you spending time with me, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.